Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another boring shirt to transform a little bit. So I started by tracing the bodies of one of my well-fitting shirts, and this took me way longer than what I'm showing you here. So just take your time and trace and measure carefully so that it's all symmetric. Once I had the bodies cut out, I seam ripped this first part of the collar off and I left it like that for now. I pinned the sides of the bodies together so that I could mark the middle of the armhole or shoulder seam. I traced the sleeves too, so they ended up a bit more narrow, and since I seam ripped the cuff off, I had to sew it back on now. Don't do the same mistake, just leave the cuff where it was. I marked the middle of the shoulder seam on the sleeve too, and I unpinned the body sides so that I could open up the shoulder seam.
That's right. That's right.
Then with right side facing, I pinned the sleeve to bodice, starting in the middle.
3, 2, 1.
And again with right side facing, I pinned and sewed the sleeve and body sides together. Next I measured the collar and used the original side seam scrap fabric to make one long strap that was about 3 centimeters wide.
Come on. Hey yo, listen.
I sewed the basting stitch along the raw edge and I guttered the strap until it was the length I needed for the collar. Then I sandwiched the ruffle strap in between the two collar halves. After that, I basically repeated the same process a couple more times. I cut out another 2 straps. I hemmed 3 sides and sewed basting stitch along 4th edge of every strap. And I guttered them and I attached them to the original cuff like this.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so I have ruffles at my neck and I have ruffles at the sleeves. And I thought that to finish the shirt up, I want to add ruffles around these button pockets. And the way I could do it, since this bottom part is covered usually, I'm just gonna sew one ruffle very close to the edge of the buttons, and for the other side I think I'm gonna seam rip this part right here. That will probably let me open this up. I will insert the ruffle right here and then I'm gonna sew this right back up, and that way I should have ruffle edge on both of these sides. So let's hope I can do that. So once again I gathered another 2 straps, seam ripped this line, and it gave me about ½ centimeter of a gap into which I could stuff the ruffle into. For the other side, I first seam ripped the buttons off and then I sewed the other ruffle down on the same line on which the buttons were. I sewed the buttons back where they were, and this is what how the buttons and the ruffle is looking. Okay, so the last thing to do is I'm gonna hem and probably add another ruffle down at the bottom here. And at the end I decided to just do the simple waistband because the shirt was already long enough anyways. So I cut out another strap, the size of the bottom of the shirt, and I first sewed it to the shirt with right size facing like this. Then I zigzagged the raw edge and I folded the waistband up, sewing it down with straight stitch. I cut the hole for the button on the inside of that waistband and I sewed the button back. And it was done. If I was doing it again, I would probably make the neck ruffle a bit shorter, or I would interface it so it would hold up better because it was a bit droopy. And I would also use less contrasting thread and probably different buttons. But I still think this turned out good. So I hope you guys liked this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did, and I'll see you next week. Bye!
Four, three, two, one.